Today on the Fairy BOSSmother Show, you are already giving me a lot of positive vibes, positive energy, and we haven't even talked yet, so I'm excited for this. I'm meeting with Shasterin Valentin, who is a bilingual clinical social worker and the founder of Respira Wellness.
I'm a licensed clinical social worker, so the main thing that I do consistently is I provide individual therapy.
Shasterin's business is only a year old, and she's struggling to figure out who exactly her target audience is.
I'm not sure. I think maybe I need to expand more my reach
without feeling like she's deliberately excluding other people. With a new business,
I definitely need to get out of my head a lot about what I'm posting and what I'm sharing, how I'm showing up on social media.
Shasterin is trying it all, but there are some big gaps in her messaging that she probably can't see until now. But when it comes to your messaging, I want you to only focus on the bullseye. My job as your personal brand expert is to give them real feedback, no fluff, just real talk. I want you to look at that woman in the eye when it comes to your communication. I see you, I hear you, and help them discover opportunities that they are probably missing out on now and in the future. So it sounds like you really needed validation. That go ahead to say, you know what, Shasterin, go ahead. This sounds great. Go do it. Let's meet Shasterin Valentin. Now, before we meet Shasterin, I asked her a few basic questions about her business so that I can see under the hood and take a look at what's really going on. Okay, so Shasterin is the founder of Respira Wellness, and she said that her business is a holistic and clinical mental health service. Okay. She offers virtual, in-person, walk-in talk therapy, individual sessions for ages 11 plus. Wait a second, that's a really big age group. The fact that she specifically said 11 plus. So she really is serving everyone, which is going to be really problematic when it comes to talking directly to her audience. I'm going to try to get the bottom of this when I'm asking Shasterin all of my questions. She also mentions that she serves all of Connecticut, bilingual services both in Spanish and in English. That's a really great thing to promote. I'm curious to know whether any of her messaging is actually in Spanish or if she prefers to stay in English, because then we're not really capturing the audience that she needs for her business. She also goes to say that Respira Counseling and Wellness is dedicated to empowering individuals on their journey to self-discovery, strength, and self-love. Whether you seek individual counseling, group therapy, wellness workshops, or retreats, Respira is here to support you every step in treating the whole person. As a licensed clinical social worker, I frequently collaborate with my siblings, that's interesting, who are also in wellness fields to offer self-care and self-love focused workshops and retreats. There's a lot going on there. She's talking so much about her services in a very broad way. I don't have a clue who she's actually helping with her services. So that is a little bit of a problem, and that's what I'm going to dive deeper when I talk to her. Her audience is nowhere to be found. Okay, so when asking her, what are your main goals for your business right now? This is what she has to say. To continue to build community, safe spaces for BIPOC individuals, and help women find their voice. Would like to expand to offering more wellness workshops, date retreats, and overnight retreats. Okay, so now we're getting to the bottom of it. So she's helping BIPOC individuals. So this is the Black, Indigenous, and people of color community. That is still, that's like a massive community. That's not a community, that's an entire race of people. So still, she thinks that she's defined her target audience when she really hasn't. So that's probably why she's stuck in her business, because her messaging is still going to be very watered down if that is the kind of audience she wants to target. Now, whether or not her messaging and her branding is targeting those individuals, that is yet to be seen. So when asking her, what's the biggest challenge you're currently facing in reaching those goals? She said, still trying to get the business known. It's only been a year officially in business, and only the last few months being able to start offering more events to the community. But the following is slowly growing. I'm hoping to grow more confident and consistent with posting on social media. Okay, well, running events is very, very time consuming. So I'm curious to know how big she's hoping these events to be, how often she's running these events, whether she wants to keep these events small and local or whether she wants to be in other parts of the world. Right now, I feel like Shasterin is thinking very small because she's a small business. I'm wondering what the real reason is for her starting this business, considering she's a clinical social worker. Now, when I asked her, have you done any work on your personal brand? She said, I've attempted to use things like Canva and Google Sites to create my own website, logo, branding, color scheme. Sorry, I'm grimacing because you guys know how I feel about when people talk about their colors and their website and blah, blah. That is not your personal brand. I digress. Let's continue with what Shasterin had to say about this. Okay, so she said, I'm not always confident. It is always cohesive and consistent. I definitely know the social media pages can appear a bit scattered. I would like to be obvious in the right way with what services we offer. Yeah, she doesn't have a clue what a personal brand is. So my job is to show her how powerful her business can be when we build and reposition her personal brand with her story front and center and get her to her stretch goal. So, having said that, let's meet Shasterin Valentin. Shasterin, welcome to the Fairy BOSSmother. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm good. Happy to be here. Yeah.
No, I love that glowing smile. Like you are already giving me a lot of positive vibes, positive energy, and we haven't even talked yet. So I'm excited for this.
I know. I think to know me is to know I'm always laughing at nothing and and everything, but just always having a good time.
Okay, well, let's do a quick vibe check, right? Just to see how you're really doing. So today, would you like the full boss mode? So no filter, real talk. It might sting a little bit. Or do you want the feather duster kitty gloves on today?
And let's go for it. Let's go boss. Let's go full boss.
She's asked for boss mode. Okay, you have a holistic clinical mental health organization business, and it's called Respira Wellness. Is that right? And you're based in Connecticut.
Respira Wellness. So Respira is Spanish for breathe.
Ooh, okay. And it sounds like you have a lot of services for a lot of people at the moment. So can you summarize what it is that you do in your business?
Yeah. So first and foremost, I'm a licensed clinical social worker. So the main thing that I do consistently is I provide individual therapy. I meet with my clients. Most of them are weekly, some bi-weekly and monthly. I run group therapy as well. And so then on a monthly basis, we do different like wellness workshops and retreats. So we have a fun retreat coming up, some daytime retreats and over like weekend retreats.
And it sounds like this is quite a new business for you. So what got you started with this business?
Yeah. So I've been in the profession now for over a decade. And when I've worked for agencies and domestic violence shelters, adolescent programs and things like that. And so most of the community that I worked with were the BIPOC community in those areas. And so I quickly kind of picked up on the fact that what you learn in school, very regimented and scripted. I was like, it just wasn't natural, wasn't coming to me in that way. And, I started to incorporate more creative aspects into just the sessions that I would do at work and with music and crafting and dance and, those type of things. And so the vision started about 10 years ago for this wellness program that just kind of became a one-stop shop to like how there is more to healing, or there are more ways to healing than just talking this out. Because some of my clients would just shut down once we did a lot of talking. We needed to get back into the body. Yeah, so about kind of, I incorporated some of these things along the way at other businesses or other jobs that I had. And a year ago, I decided to finally take the leap. And I will say it's with the empowerment and support of my siblings. Who also ended up in the wellness profession in other aspects and really strongly believe in empowerment as well. And so together we've, decided to take this leap and we do some workshops and different events together. So it's been really nice.
You mentioned siblings. How many of you are there?
In total, there are 6 of us. However, in terms of kind of like behind the scenes with this particular business, there are 4.
Okay. So family business. I love it. Okay. So Respira Wellness is not just you, it's a whole family, a whole pack of you, I could just say. All right, I love that. So I want to get a little bit more deeper into the why behind your business before we, look into your online presence and your website. So really, Shasterin, my goal for you today is really, really simple. I want you to leave better than you came. So you're going to have a lot of ideas. I'm going to give you a lot of feedback. What got you here today on the Fairy BOSSmother Show?
Well, after we started the show, not the show, sorry. this business about a year ago. In January, we hit a year. I kind of eased into it or we, kind of eased into it by doing mostly just the individual therapy. And then towards the fall, decided, hey, let's start offering some of these workshops, some of these things that have been brewing. And so around November and December, started putting, it's being more vulnerable and attending more networking events and made some beautiful connections. And I guess somewhere along the line, you ran into me. I guess you saw my stuff. And so, I'm really excited to see this continue to grow and see where it goes. Yeah.
Okay, so if there was one thing today that you want to take away from anything that I give you, what would that be? Like a prediction, so to say.
I want the mission and the message to be clear, because we are offering so much and it's kind of all over, I don't want it to feel scattered as much as my brain is scattered with creativity and ideas. But I want it to feel as though the message is clear, whether you're on the website or on the social media page, what it is that we do and how we're a safe space.
Yeah, so gaining that clarity, right, in your business, considering that, you've started to experiment with the creative avenue of therapy. You don't want to just do talking therapy. You want to get your clients to really open up to you in other ways that gets them comfortable. So you've got a lot of empowerment workshops. There's a lot of services that you provide. You mentioned, virtual, online, in person. I saw some of the things that you do behind the scenes, but if you don't mind sharing a little bit more, what goes on behind the scenes in your business and what led you to this moment?
And behind the scenes in terms of what? Because as an entrepreneur, you do a lot.
All right, so let's think. It's taken you 10 years to get to where you are now. You had a lot of ideas brewing in your head, and suddenly you decided now is the time for me to build and create this business. What was that catalyst that made you go, I've got to do this now?
I think it got to a point where it was the self-doubt over the years, because again, when you're meeting with clients and there's insurance and all these things, you feel very nervous about deviating from what the standard is supposed to look like. And people talk about like evidence-based practices. And again, things kind of feel scripted and you kind of feel like, am I doing this right by just following my intuition and winging it and trying and incorporating these different things? And so a big part, I think, for me was having some great supervisors in the last two roles that I had that really pushed me to believe in what I was doing and and I would come up with these ideas and present it to them, and they would, for the most part, give me the go ahead and just be like, that sounds great. And so they really empowered me to listen to my gut as opposed to, just these things that you're supposed to learn in a book. And that just doesn't work for everybody. So
it work for you, it doesn't work for your clients to have a off the book, I'm just going to read off a book and tell you what you need based on these like prescriptive methods. It's not working for your clients. It's not working for you.
Right. And so that's the thing, is that you envision what this therapist is supposed to look like, be kind of stoic and pretty bland, and you're not supposed to emote as much and all that stuff. And I'm just like, I would struggle with connecting with someone that way. So I'm just very, I don't know if it, Latina, like just kind of the culture of it, but just very relational approach to what I want to do with clients. And so last year, as I started, or I guess was it 2023, I started kind of incorporating more of these workshops and groups into the group practice that I was working with. And they were great in allowing me to do that and expand. And so then it kind of got to the point earlier last year in 2024, where I was just like, I keep promoting my ideas under someone else's business.
Yeah.
And as much as I love working there and being a part of that, I kind of wanted to branch off and say, I think I'm ready. I think I'm ready to take the leap. And with the support of my siblings and backing me up, I decided to allow myself to feel unstoppable.
So it sounds like you really needed validation. That go ahead to say, you know what, Shasterin, go ahead. This sounds great. Go do it. And the minute you got that validation, that's it, the wheels are turning. And a year in business is great, fantastic. So really, congratulations for even starting it. Now we want you to have a snowball effect. You want to catch that momentum so that you can continue to work with the people that you clearly really care about. One of the things that you mentioned was the BIPOC community, right? So I know you're looking to grow your business. So Are you ready to get deeper with me?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. So, okay, what's your real number one struggle when it comes to searching for help right now in your business? Like, what's the one thing that's really keeping you up at night?
I need to do more of.
What do you need to get done? And you're just like, oh, this is the thing that I'm super stuck on in order to move your business forward.
So I definitely need to get out of my head a lot about what I'm posting and what I'm sharing, how I'm showing up on social media, because I kind of stuck in the overthinking and the perfectionism. I was like, does this can't caption translate well? Does it make sense for me to post about this when I have this event coming up? So I sometimes will then just stop. And rather than kind of post something and just kind of see how it goes, I catch myself more often than not just freezing, and I don't post as consistently, and I think, yeah, and online, the presence isn't as consistent as I want it to be. And I think part of that is because I tend to work off of feedback. And again, that relational aspect of it isn't really there when I'm just talking to a screen. And so if I get more in my head about that.
I have a question about that. So, I mean, the BIPOC community is still a big community. I know for a lot of people, it might sound niche. It really isn't, because that's a huge community of people, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's do a really quick exercise, right? So
Yes.
who is the one, not 10, but one person you feel most connected to helping? And if you can only work with this one type of client for the next 5 years, who would that be?
Ooh, I am passionate about working with women
Okay.
who are the firstborn, either the firstborn in the family or the first daughter.
Okay, let's be a little bit more specific, because now you're just saying I'll work with women.
Well, no, it's more what it is that typically the pressures and the messages that they receive as either the eldest daughter in that family is what we end up seeing as women who struggle with that empowerment later on.
Are you talking about women of very specific cultures? Are you talking about the Latina community? Are you talking of women of color? Like, everyone has their own challenges.
I guess maybe I'm mostly thinking about Latinas,
Okay.
but I do see it also in, I think, just amongst the BIPOC community. That tends to be because they're very community focused and very family oriented, which is great. It has its strengths, but it tends to also come with its challenges for that firstborn female.
Are you one of that? Are you that person, the firstborn?
No,
Wow.
actually, the passion comes from, I think, my mother, witnessing my mother, and the impact to my older sister, and just yeah. So that the love that I have for them and wanting to push them has, yeah, created this passion.
Okay, because I think it's important that you start to get clarity on your target audience. The
Okay.
BIPOC community is still very large. You can still serve them, but I want you to think about it like this, right? There's a dartboard and then there's a
Mhm.
bullseye.
Yeah.
Everyone in that dartboard is going to be your target audience. But when it comes to your messaging, so whatever you say online, social media, internet, whatever, even for your workshops, I want you to only focus on that bullseye. And that
Okay.
bullseye is tiny, right? But when you hit, girl, you hit hard. You hit hard,
Mm.
you hit big. And these are going to be the people that come to your wellness center over and over again. And those are the kind of individuals that are going to want to come to you, because you have a reputation now of helping this type of women, and your services are catered just for them.
Mhm.
When you start to narrow things down just a little bit, everyone else on that board is going to start paying attention. Even if they're not women of color, they'll probably still look at you and go, I really like what they're doing, and I really want to participate now. Even if you're not talking directly to them, you're talking kind of like around them. I
Yeah.
want you to look at that woman in the eye when it comes to your communication. I see you, I hear you. And then
Mm.
this is where you're building up your personal brand, right? As the founder and the owner of this business, I know you have, your siblings helping you, but that makes this business even more powerful. This is backed by a family of siblings who believe in this mission. And we
Mhm.
want to, you're creating a community where you're uplifting other people, you're empowering them to be better, you're helping them with their traumas and their mental health issues. And you see this firsthand, not only in your community, but it's also in your family. So Shasterin, I would recommend that you make this personal. Make this business personal to you because it already is.
Yes.
Right? Right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So let's keep that in mind. So I can feel that there's so many ideas like happening. You've kind of got like popcorn brain. There's pop, 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 constantly lots of ideas. Is that true? Right?
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
I already see your wheels turning. So
Yeah.
there's got to be a stop there, right? You've got to catch one good popcorn, put it in your mouth, digest it, and let it like do its thing.
Okay.
So with the issues that you have, that lack of clarity and the fact that you're still young in your business and you're experimenting, but it's taking you 10 years to finally build your business. Now, you mentioned how there's been issues of like procrastination or perfectionism getting in, potentially imposter syndrome. Do you feel like those three little culprits are going to sabotage you now and in your future when it comes to growing your business?
It's what I will say I am actively working against, yes, to to try to let go of. I definitely saw some of that happening at the beginning of last year. I mean, for the first like half of it, and so that's why then towards that fall, I was like, okay, it's time to just put yourself out there, and who's gonna buy into what you're doing is gonna be there, and if they're not, it's okay.
So I want you to think about that one woman, or maybe two in your case, right? I want you to think about your mother, and I want you to think about your older sister. Forget everyone else, right?
Yeah.
If you were the only expert in the world who can help them, that'll be you.
Okay.
This is how I want you to level up. You are the only expert that can help them. Now, with family, it's a little bit tricky because you have a history with them. You have a lot of emotions. There's a lot of connected experiences. So that's going to color your experience in that case. But imagine there's other women who are just like your mother, and there are other women, first generation daughters, who are just like your sister. These are the two types of women that you're going to be helping going forward. And anytime when you come up with ideas, or oh my God, I can't do this, or oh, this doesn't feel right, or it doesn't feel perfect, or you know what, forget it, I don't want to do this anymore, and you stop doing anything on social media.
Yeah.
I want you to think about your sister and your mother.
Okay.
Use that as a driving force to keep you going forward, because I don't think they would want you to stop just because you're slightly scared, right? Now, when I said that to you, how did that make you feel?
It made me feel sad a little bit to think that like, oh, if I stop, there would be someone out there that wouldn't get the help
Yes,
that they're looking for.
exactly. Yeah, so we need to reposition you as the expert who can help this type of woman.
Yeah.
And when you make it really personal, your mother and your sister, you love them so much, because if not, you wouldn't be talking about them. Imagine the impact that you can have for other women like that. That's the power that you have, Shasterin.
Oh, thank you.
Right? I want you to like put that in a ball, hold it, and that's going to be your heart, the heart of your business going forward.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So before I start looking into your website, I'm really curious to know, what have you already tried in your business to like move to the next stage of your business? So, you mentioned how there's a lack of clarity and you kind of like have I'm throwing darts everywhere and it's not hitting that board approach. Can you give me a little bit more detail on what you've done to fix this problem and why it hasn't worked so far?
So we've been trying to put out more workshops that are clear in their message about combining or connecting mind, body, soul type of experiences. And I'm not sure, I think maybe I need to expand more on my reach. I'm focused mostly on just like Instagram and Facebook, and
Which is
maybe
the biggest lead generation machine in the world.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. But I think I need to do more with groups, like joining certain groups in those spaces and those platforms. Because when I am in person and doing some of the networking, I get great feedback and people are engaged and people will sign up there. But then kind of in social media, I think people, because I don't know if it's the abundance of opportunity to look at stuff, that it kind of just goes over the radar. But
Are you actively reaching out to people, or are you posting something hoping for the best?
Yes, I'm hosting and
Okay.
hoping for the best.
Okay.
I have started doing more. In terms of reaching out to people, I've been reaching out to people more specifically or more directly to form more collaboration. So I love the idea of collaboration and community, and so kind of expanding more from what I've been doing with my siblings, which is great, and that remains the focus, but targeting a bigger audience and also working from a different perspective. And so I've been trying to do more online engagements where I can. So lately I've been doing kind of like little mini interviews with vendors that are going to be coming up for an upcoming event. But I've also been reaching out to people and requesting or asking if they'd like to be a vendor at our events.
And
But I guess
sorry, is this something that they pay for or is it something free?
so it depends on the service that they are providing. Yeah, but if they're going to be a vendor, if they are paying, then they are also being part of the guest process too. So I'm trying to take a different approach on how someone can be a vendor at our events so that they are also a guest in getting away, walking away with some of the services,
Yeah.
not just there to pour into other people.
All right. So it sounds like to me, again, there's a lot of trial and error going on over here. Maybe I could try this with this approach. The fact that this is the first time I'm hearing about vendors and events, but I can't even imagine that making like your monthly salary for the month. So no, exactly. You're chasing pennies, not even dollars right now, right? So one of the things that I would like, if I was to work on your personal brand, one of the things that I would do is turn your family story into stories that can be relatable to people just like your mother, yourself, your siblings, the family,
Yeah.
right? Having that family angle makes you instantly relatable because you're now shining a light on, hey, this is the reason why I started this business and it's backed by my siblings. Let me tell you about my sister and all the crap that she's gone through. Once that's series number one, the stuff
Yeah.
that my sister has to go through, and you're seeing it from a outside perspective, and this is not even your experience, but is impacting you because you've built an entire business around this now.
Yeah.
Series number two, your mother. Now she has a whole other challenges than your sister because she's coming from another completely different generation, probably holding up the entire family and doing God knows what, like, everything she can to keep her family together. There's going to
Yeah.
be, your sister and your mom are going to have very different challenges, and you're shining a light on two very different scenarios.
Yeah.
That in itself, like if I was to say narrow down even more, I would say choose between your mother and your sister. I'm not going to do that because I think that's the core of the messaging now. Your mother's story, your sister's story, turn that into an entire series. And one of the other things that I remember you mentioning is you're bilingual. So, Latino community, right? So you speak Spanish.
Yes.
Have you tried creating content just in Spanish?
No. I've considered, I've been thinking I need to start doing more of that, especially when I put captions and
The captions can be in English, so you're translating what you're saying. The shenanigans that happen between your siblings, these are things that people would want to see because that was going to kind of be entertaining,
Yes.
So what your brother and you do on social media, it's really fun.
Yeah.
So your industry is super heavy, right? We're talking about mental health.
Yeah.
We're talking about trauma, generational trauma, but you're putting a kind of like a humorous spin to it and how this doesn't have to be your life. It can be this. And, Respira Wellness helps you get to this stage. So essentially, what you're doing is talk about the problems. Here's the problems that I'm seeing and that I'm helping my clients with. And guess what the solution is? It's not the services that you provide. It is your company. It is your business. You are the solution. People have to work with you. Again, if you were the only expert in the world, we would got to position yourself so that you are the best choice in the industry.
I like that.
Okay. Right. So let's assume you have no money problems in your business, right? You have an unlimited budget. Money is off the cards. Don't think about money.
So much money.
You have money. You're just like, I fell asleep and I've made this much. It's like, you didn't even have to try.
Oof, that'd be nice. Passive income. Yeah.
Passive, active, whatever. Like you're flowing in abundance.
Yes.
Now what? Like, what is the big stretch goal for your business? And what's the dream that you really want for yourself now that you're not hustling for $1 anymore?
Okay. So separate from the business, or what do I want to see?
I want to hear
business to grow.
What's in your head? What is your dream? I want to hear your dream.
My dream would be to be able to host on a more regular basis, even quarterly, these more intimate retreats. It grow into things to like conference that people are just like, oh, I have to go to this year, or even each one hits on a different healing journey for me. And it just creates this network of empowering people, safe space. I don't know if I'm frame right, but I've always kind of just envisioned being connected to being able to utilize so many people's strengths, and it be, again, I always think of it kind of this one-stop shop. It's funny, as I always pictured it as a wellness center, and my sister always said like a wellness mall. But yeah, my dream would be so that it's a one big place and all of these things are under one roof.
Okay. How many
Yeah.
people are coming to this retreat?
Okay, wait, hold on, because those are separate things. See, this is where my mind is going. Because I'm picturing this kind of like conference, like so for the retreats, I would like there to be somewhat big but intimate, in that maybe capping it at
Okay,
like
okay, okay. Give me a number. Give me a number. Give me a number.
15 or 20 people.
That's too small. Okay. How much are you charging per person considering this is a small, intimate gathering? Remember, budget is off the cards.
Oh my goodness. Okay. All right. So if we're talking like, because I'm picturing it as like we're traveling, to these places, but I guess I can own my own place. Let's see.
Have me with a number. Come on.
A number. Well, how much of charging people? 2,000.
Not
That's
big
easy.
enough.
Not big enough?
No, that's tight. That's small ball. That's small. So there's a fitness trainer that I know who has 10,000 plus followers. She's taking them to Bali and she's charging 2,000. That's small league. Then there's another wellness individual. I'll show you after the show. This individual is taking on like 50 to 100 people in his home, where he is hiring out like accommodation, all of that, food. They pay for the flights. They pay for the flights. He's charging 10,000 per person. But the only reason why he's able to charge, or these individuals are able to charge what they're charging, is because they have a cranked up personal brand. People go all the way to the other side of the world, add that to their bucket list and saying, you know what, 10K, he's worth it. She's worth it, because they know what they're going to get out of that retreat by spending that time, that physical energy with you.
Yeah.
Right? You got to protect your time and your energy. You don't want to just give that away to anyone.
Okay.
So you have a golden door, right? This is a golden door. You're saying, hey, you can come and be in my space and breathe the same air as me and get into this head of mine, but you have to pay a premium.
Okay.
You're capable of charging premium prices, even if it's 20 people.
Yeah.
$1,000 is still cheap. But you can't get that if your personal brand is like non-existent and watered down.
Okay.
So when I ask you again, what is your dream? What is that stretch goal? Like, stretch it out. Stretch it. $2,000. I can get that in my sleep. You can get that in your sleep. You should be able to make $2,000 in a day.
Well, so here's the thing. This is where it's that push and pull, because I think about the community I came from and what the community that he needs the healing the most. And so I want it to be accessible, and I want it to be affordable, right?
Yes.
And so, So
I'm going to make you accessible but exclusive.
Okay.
You can be accessible to everyone. That's the whole point about having visibility, having a website, being on social media. That is your platform. Your platform is not just in Connecticut or Massachusetts or America. The globe could be your stage. You're talking about Latina women. Do you think people outside of America who are also Latinas might not need the help that you need, that you provide them, right? So think outside of your doorstep, but we have to start on your doorstep, and I want you to spiral out. So your geography of impact gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
That'd be amazing.
Right. Yeah. Okay, that's the goal. So having said that, I'm going to finally look at your website.
Oh boy.
I'm curious to know like how you're positioned, what you've done. Okay, your reaction already is like, oh.
Well, because I did try to fix it up a little bit. I think like around December, so to be a little bit more clear, because before that it was pretty general on that homepage. So
okay,
we'll see what the feedback is.
Okay, here we go. Welcome to Respira Wellness. Okay, where your healing and empowerment journey begins. Already, I can see that you've tried. You've got you've got some sort of colors going on. You don't have
Yeah.
a logo for your website or for your business?
We do. We do. I guess I could put that up there. It used to be, so where that cover, that image is now, it used to be the logo was there.
So your logo is kind of like a postage stamp to the envelope. It's
Mm.
not completely, I mean, it's important because you need a DNA in your business, and that's the stamp. But you definitely need to add that because no one's going to remember this, Respira Counseling Wellness. It's just the font.
Yes.
So having some sort of logo there would be great. And already I can see you're not talking to your audience, right? So you're having a broad healing and empowerment journey. And I'm just like, who are you talking to? Who is this for? And why do I need healing and empowerment? And why is this a journey? Can I do
Okay.
this in 10 minutes? So those are all of the initial questions that come to my mind. And there's you. Yes, I'm glad you have a picture of yourself. But from an outside point of view, this looks like a testimonial, not an introduction by the founder of the organization.
Okay.
Yeah. So what I want to see is forget the hi, welcome to my page, blah, blah, blah. I want you to start talking about my mother, my sister. Here's why I started Respira. Here's the problems that I see. This is what my wellness center can do for you. Here are the ways that I can help you. I'm Shasterin and I believe in you so much. Like, just go straight in for the story.
Okay.
Yeah. And keep this t-shirt on because I got this, I got you. Right. And then you talked about, specialties. It's kind of like you're a painter and you're showing your clients, hey, this paintbrush does this thing and this paintbrush does this thing. No one cares about that. They want to know how you can fix their problem because that's the reason why they're coming to you, right? Because here you're just kind of like giving me a Wikipedia summary of what trauma is, but it's not relatable, right? So when you're talking about trauma, go straight in for the emotion. Like, what does trauma do to an individual's family, to their well-being, to their mind? Like, you can't get out of bed. And, every time when you try to do something new, you're being taken back because of this trauma that is unresolved and is keeping you stuck. Like, those are the things that you could be talking about a little bit more.
So I think I attempted to do that a little bit just above that, where I did put some words there, just kind of you've been feeling overwhelmed and exhausted. And I do work with male clients also, which is why I think that's why I removed the logo or the bit because it's like pink and yellows and purple. And so I'm like, I don't want it to look like I only work with females because as an individual therapist, I do work with adolescents and so it's the workshops and wellness like retreats that are focused more on female empowerment.
But originally you said if there was one client that you wanted to work with, you had a choice to work with. You mentioned first generation Latina women.
Yes.
Right? Everyone else remember the dartboard?
Yeah.
I want you to only hit the bullseye.
Okay.
Right? Even for your website needs to talk to somebody. You can't talk to everyone because then that way you're never going to grow in your business. Even if you are working with men and teens and whoever, they are going to be your secondary audience. So you are open to working with everyone, but you need to have a one-to-one conversation with that one person.
Yes.
And that's exactly what your website needs to do as well. So that's my initial feedback. I'm curious to know, where's the about page?
Oh, that's my sister.
That's your sister?
Yeah.
Now I'm confused. I'm like, who owns this business? Okay.
So that page, yeah. On the home page, it has kind of the siblings, and that one links to her.
Yeah. So I don't think it's very clear who is running this in an organization. Because you need a leader, even if it's, you've got all of your siblings working with you plus anyone else. You need to show off who the leader of this like gang is.
Yeah.
And that's going to be you. And the only reason I went to this page is because it was under the about page and then it redirected to Own It with Shay. So that's the first place that I went to rather than the about page. And even then the about page doesn't talk about, hey, we're a band of siblings and this is why we came together to help, our community and blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm not seeing the connection between you and this business and the people that you're trying to help.
So I did have that and I will bring it back.
Yeah, definitely.
I will bring it back because I tried to put it then kind of on the front page a little bit, but.
Yeah. Let's go to your Instagram. That's you, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I didn't realize. Well, I didn't realize I connected it to my that's the therapist Instagram page. I didn't realize I didn't connect it to the business Instagram page.
Okay, well, this is what I was seeing. So I see the colors. The colors are very soft. Yeah, I mean, this could work with men and women. Men, men can have pink. It's a color, right?
Yeah.
So, but I did notice, like scrolling down, you do have a lot of really fun reels with your brother. I want to see more of that. I want to see that family dynamics between you as the founder and your siblings because they are part of this community. Would love to see that a little bit more. Okay, so having said that, we figured out that you need some clarity in your business in terms of who you're talking to. You told me who you would like to work with if you were to work with this person for the next 5 years.
Yes.
You shared with me your big goal, your stretch goal. I stretched it out a little bit more.
Which I guess I could dream bigger, but okay.
You can always dream bigger because the bigger the dream is, look, okay, here's the thing. The scarier your dreams, the more you'd want it. Because if it's not big enough and you've just done it, it's like, what's next? You're not going to try as hard, right? So that's why I put your sister and your mother in the forefront of your mind because you want to do this for them. And then all of the other women who are just like them, get in line. Get in line. I'm helping these two first. Get in line. And this is how you build momentum in your business. So we've got your big goals, your big vision. Now, where do you think your business could be in the next 6 to 12 months if you were to implement everything that I shared with you today?
Hopefully higher engagements at my events. I would love to do like speaking engagements. And so hopefully that means more people being able to reach out to me to hear what I have to share. And hopefully just, like a steady flow of people reaching out for our services.
Yeah. Okay. And then with the feedback that I shared you, because I know I threw like a lot at you, do you feel like your current brand is supporting your bigger goals? Or do you feel like it's more of a roadblock that's holding you back from really reaching your potential?
I think it could be more narrowed down to a niche population so that it can grow more. Because right now I think it is wide, and we're trying to bring it down, but I think we could do a little bit better with that. Absolutely.
All right, so let's assume like I'm everything that I claim to be, the personal brand expert who can really transform your business. Waving my Fairy BOSSmother wand right here. So if you were to work together, what would your like ideal situation look like working with me? Like, what does that perfect outcome look like for you? Because you mentioned suddenly you want to do speaking engagements, and that's something that you've not mentioned to me yet.
I would like to be able to be more concise with how I'm presenting the information, whether that is, at networking events, our platforms, when I'm doing speaking engagements. It's like, why would they want to reach out to you? What's the thing that I'm going to share? So if I was working with you, I'd like to kind of really narrow that down of what's my spiel, I guess.
Your superpower.
Yeah, I like that perspective of like, hey, if you were the expert, why would they want you? Why would you be the only person to solve their problem? And you said that, I'm just like, ooh, I don't know if I feel that yet. I want to be, but I think I need to believe it a little bit more.
Now that we've gone through a lot, I mean, we've done a lot in half an hour, right? So do you feel confident in building and implementing all of these changes on your own? Or do you feel like it might be easier and faster if you had like external guidance to take you through the process and make sure that everything's actually done right?
I think it could be helpful, yes, to have some support with that.
All right. So before we wrap up, Shastan, I loved talking to you and just really like getting into your head. I'd love to hear what you took away from our conversation and what's been the most valuable for you today.
I think it's that concept of the bullseye, of really honing in, because I know that that's the message or that's the population I want to work with, but I'm also don't want to feel like I'm excluding people, right? I think that's the therapist in me. And so I think it's very helpful to really hone in. And I do love talking about my family and that we are a sibling set and team that is behind us. And, I think making that more front and center could be really helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I mean, how many families actually come together for this purpose? It's not often, it's not a common thing that happens. So I think that could be a really huge cornerstone of your business, that this is a family that really is looking out for one another and for others just like them. Yeah, definitely super, super special. And is there anything that you feel differently now after your brand review?
I feel better about the direction I want to move this in. I do feel a little nervous about, again, like making anyone feel like they can't be a part of the services we offer, because I do want this to be an inclusive service. And so, yeah, I think just kind of playing around with that of how can I do one without turning off other people from being also reaching out.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It doesn't stop you from working with a lot of different types of people, but it's just putting a focus on your own story means that you're positioning your personal brand is personal now, right?
Yeah.
And it's not just Respira Wellness, it's Shasterin behind the business, why you started this, why you're so committed and passionate, the work that you do as a social worker, like all of this plays a huge part to your business. And no one else has the same experiences like the way you have. So this is unique to you. This is your own unique footprint. Now it's time to bring that into your business and then be able to figure out, right, what are the core services that you provide? How can you get your service? Forget about the vendor stuff. That's like pennies. How do we get to that $10,000 client for your retreat? Yeah. And how do we make sure that those types of individuals are the ones that you're constantly attracting? Right. That is now the goal. All right. How are you feeling? How are you feeling? I'm giving you a pummeling today.
Yes. No, I feel good. I feel good. This is great. And so definitely gave me some homework on what to do with the website. But yeah, I'll do what I can.
Also,
I feel good.
It was so great having you, Shastan, and I can't wait to see what you get up to based on our conversation.
Yes, thank you, thank you. Thank you for your help and the feedback. I love it. It was very helpful and supportive.
Yay. If you enjoyed this episode of the Fairy BOSSmother Show and you're a small business owner, apply to be a guest on the show and get your very own live brand review. You can apply by going to my website, www.bossdiplomat.com, or snap the QR code on this video. See you soon.